So continue the good news. Okay, the meek shall inherit the earth, which means the humble. Second Chronicles 7:14. If my people called by my name will pray and humble themselves, I will heal their land. Heal their land, their children, their crops, their trees, and turn everything in the land of milk and honey, where the grapes are as big as footballs. Oranges are as big as softballs or basketball. Let's say basketballs. That's a nice orange ball. So, wipe every tear from every eye, but let's backtrack a little bit. So, many have lived high on the hog while you were starving, like I was in foreclosure twice. And many that I knew, that I administered to and witnessed to, were prospering like no tomorrow. Bought new cars, new trucks, houses, trains, planes, automobiles, and whatever. And didn't think about the neighbor, didn't think about their fellow brethren, didn't think there'll be meat in mine house where we were starving. I told you about, my daughter was asking about apple pie, and they gave me a Dutch apple pie. She was asking about donuts, which are not good for you, but she wanted some comfort food. So the guy, I turned around, he said, "Sir," and then he handed me the donuts, or "Sir," he handed me the Dutch apple pie, not just an apple pie, a Dutch apple pie, my favorite. So therefore, many have fallen and missed the mark, and it'd be a tough hellacious road, a tough row of potholes for them in the end time, because we will be comforted just like Lazarus and the rich man. Lazarus is comforted. So we're not talking death, we already caught up to the throne rooms. 2 Chronicles 7:14, the marriage supper lamb, we've already been caught up. We are intermediate, we are interconnect you to help you go to the throne room or not. So to be caught up with the Lord and never be the same again, to never be separated. So it says to see God's face and live. You'll not be able to see God's face and live, which really means you will no longer be mortal. If God reveals His face to you, Jesus reveals His face to you, you no longer can live as a mere mortal, carnal person. So you transform. So how could you be sad? How could you be depressed? You can be a little bit because your family and whatever tug at your heartstrings, but even Jesus wept when Martha was saying that Lazarus is dead. Jesus said he's only sleeping. So we're in a stupor, we're in a sleep, we're in a disconnection, we're in a brain fog, we're in a matrix of death that's caused by the legion. The fallen angels that fell were a legion of angels. The fallen were all different types of angels. They're part of the legion, which is not the higher angels, but the lower angels that were allowed to fall. Those are the hell's angels that fill up hell these days. So in order for the enemy to connive and manipulate and coerce and control, and he's more subtle than the beasts of the field and birds of the air, because, if you saw a buffalo or a cow or whatever in the neighbor's yard, it was a beast, smelled like a beast, and whatever came out of it just smelled beasty. But the enemy's real subtle, he's real conniving, he's real sweet, he invites a little legion in, a little bit more legion in, a little bit more legion in, to the whole legion of angels, the fallen ones, have taken over your vessel, your house, your business, your corporation, your church. Because it's yours and not his, it wasn't dedicated to him. So many businesses have failed to enter in. Many, the hierarchy and the governments failed the city, failed the state, failed the countries. So now God's putting in His divine government, the 12, the divine government. And in order to do that, you first, like I say, cement your relationship. No. Now He's healing your DNA. So the Manasseh story, 41:51, God took away all the trials and tribulations from Joseph's vessel, including his mind and soul, and transformed him into a king, a royal priest. Transformed him because He took away all the past. So your past, like I say, the fat and the wrinkles and the need to shave and whatever. We're carrying all the baggage of lies, even in a minor minor situation. We're carrying all these lies within us, which have caused us to be drudgery, fallen heavy, because God made us like unto angels. You said, you'll be like unto angels in the transformation, you'll be like unto angels. So you should be able to fly through the sky, bird, a plane, automobile. It's Superman, the super word, the sword word, the sword of the Lord. So separate the S from the word, the super word. Jesus is super word, sword. Jesus gives you his sword, his word. So in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, the Word exploded. So if all there was W-O-R-D, that was it. And it exploded. All this revelation, all this Word created the stars, the sun, the moon, the trees, the ground, the rocks, the mountains, and go on and on and on about all these words that as creation blossomed and blossomed and bloomed and bloomed and bloomed and re-bloomed and re-blossomed and expanded and expanded and expanded, all because of the Word. So now let's take it all the way back to the Word. Read the dictionary, read the concordance, read the Word. What does the Word mean? The big words. Concordance, in one accord, co, the first word co, many, concord, in one accord, in God. So in action, T-I-O-N is always action. To bring to fruition, the fruit into action, to bear much fruit in this time. You look at all these words and you just go, wow, wow, wow. You look at them on every angle. Taste them, eat them, consume them, birth them, conceive them. Every angle of the words to bring about much blessings and much fruit in this time. To be a tree, an oak of righteousness, to bear fruit. And, one little acorn can produce a massive oak. It might take a couple 100 years, but once your conscious mind, let this mind be new lined up with Jesus, the faster and faster your prayers are answers as the lies are being reduced in you. The same as when John the Baptist left the city. He left the liars in high places, left the kingdoms that lie, went out into the wilderness, which means unadulterated, unincorporated, the pure lay of the land. He went out in the wilderness. And then he ate the pure, unadulterated honey, which they call wild honey. It wasn't wild and crazy. No, it was pure. In that term, it was wild honey, meant pure, unadulterated word of God, pure revelation, pure, sweet in his mouth, not bitter in his stomach. But sweet in his mouth, the word of God, the honey. Now he had lies within him, which are symbolic. The lies within him, the locusts are symbolic of the lies within him. As he was eating a sweet word of God, communing with God, being one in accord with God out in the wilderness, his lies within him were being consumed. But when he told John to eat the scroll and it sweet in his mouth and bitter in his stomach, he told Ezekiel to eat the scroll and sweet in his mouth and bitter in his stomach. He had a little indigestion. The indigestion was causing because the lies were burping and belching and farting and whatever you want to call it, causing bloat. I don't even know if that's a word. So causing you to be bloated, inflamed, whatever. So sweet in the mouth and bitter in the stomach. So as the lies are consumed more and more, and you get on the bandwagon of this revelation of Jesus Christ, which is the whole book, everything thereof, everything from the beginning, which was the Word. There's only one word, the Word. It was one word. Exploded in everything that you see and hear and partake of right now. So the explosion of the Word and then the indigestion is caused by, you ate lies and you have a foundation of lies in your... If you were a flower pot and you didn't have the right ingredients in there to grow a beautiful flower, your growing medium was corrupt because it had stuff in there that wasn't pure. So as the lies are being dissipated in you, okay, now you go back and look at Jesus. There was no lies within him. He didn't believe in lies. He didn't sin. Lies cause sin, cause death. Sin causes lies. Lies cause you to sin, act on the lies which cause death. There was nothing like that in Jesus because he was the Son of God. So, and I just said in past videos that he could not die. Could not die until after the orders After Melchizedek got his orders from the Most High himself and was to lay hands on Jesus to be the last sacrifice. Both hands, not one hand and one dove, one hand and another dove, and one sacrifice and one went into outer darkness. No, it was one. He laid both hands upon Jesus, so he could be the last sacrifice. Then it says he became the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. Was slain before the foundation of the earth. So when he died 2,000 years ago, sent ripples of time, of correction into time in all time frames. Like if you're looking at a movie and all the films, all the pictures in the films, click, 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 click. So he sent ripples backwards and forwards into time to cancel out all lies, all sin, all lies that cause death. So the enemy was a liar, but he had nobody to sin. He was just a liar. That's why he crawled on his belly. He was just a snake. He was just a liar, but he had nobody to sin. So he had nobody to act on the lies. So him got in cahoots with Lucifer. Now Lucifer was the day star, the morning star. Now let's look at the word morning. Morning and day. Evening and morning was day. Evening and morning was day. So evening was the birther. So Eve's name was shortened to Eve. Because ing, if you look up the native definition, ing means belonging to, which means belonging to God, ing. Eve, even though it was evening, because it was even where she was, 5:2 Genesis. And the day he created he, them, in them, he created them, Adam. So it was evening, which caused the evening, the revelation, to go forward. So then the day star, the morning star. So you think of mourning, okay, mourning death, mourn. So he caused death, caused the people to mourn. So he was no longer called morning star because he was called day. Now it was shortened because he was no longer belonging to ing, so he had to cut the ing off the word. He caused people to mourn death. He caused death. He called Cain to murder Abel. Cain to murder Abel, and Eve was mourned. Adam was mourned because of what happened. Now, Lucifer was reduced to mankind. He was allowed to live as a man, and then he's going to be done away with at a certain point in time. But God was merciful. He was the most anointed cherub in heaven, Lucifer. And then when he fell, God made coats of skins for him and Eve, because him and Eve were not human at the time. They were like spiritual